Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode we're going to check out this guy here, the Tunze Stream 3. Alright, so I'm not sure if you can see, but my tank has turned into a complete sandstorm despite me turning off 2 MP40s, 2 6105s, 2 6055s, and 2 Gaias. Turned off all those pumps. I turned on this one Tunze Stream 3 and it's blown sand all over my tank. But before we get to the actual performance of this pump, let's go back a gear, we'll jump into an unboxing and we'll go from there. Alright, let's crack into it. Here it is. It's an interesting shape of a box for a pump. I must admit, I'm a little hesitant about the Stream 3. What I've seen about these online is that they are gigantic pumps. They're a little bit ugly and they're going to be hard to fit in the aquarium. That's all the downsides. All the plus sides I've seen is that they're incredibly powerful and incredibly quiet. So let's get into it and see what the case is. It could well be both, but we don't know until we try, and I must admit I haven't seen a lot of these pumps operating in Australia. I know Eric at ARC has got stock of these now, so that's always a bonus. And here we are, the Tunze Stream 3, and it's got a little warning there at the start saying to make sure the impeller's all the way down. Sorry, it's got to be all the way down. If it's a bit up, don't operate. Let's rip that aside, and here's our pump. Immediately I realise it's not quite as big as I thought it would be. I'm not going to say it's not as ugly as I thought it would be. It's a large pump, and we'll go over why it is the way it is, but I'll just get this cover off if I can. All right, we'll leave it on for now. Let's undo the glad wrap and see what that gives us. All right, now we're up to there. Let's cut through the glad wrap here. All right, got that glad wrap out of the way. Here's our pump. Now obviously our magnets fix on here. The flow comes in from the side and out the front. We have a couple of different flow options. We've got this standard beehive hexagonal type grate. We've got this one here, this real turbine style one, which apparently is good for really long tanks. It helps accentuate the flow over a full 3 meter length, which is interesting. And then last but not least, this is the flow deflector. So if you don't want the pump to obviously go straight up or straight to the side, you can have it straight up and then add this flow deflector here, and you'll see that it's curved and it's got a it's got this solid part here which will push the water out to the side. So if you wanted it to be straight up and have the flow come out the side, you can then angle this around. So that's pretty cool. Now, one of the huge improvements over the style of Tunze that I'm running is that this does away with those horrible little boxes, and the I guess the controller itself, the 7095 was okay, but the little plug boxes were an absolute pain. Every one of Tunze's pumps now, I believe, comes with one of the, well, they're controllable pumps anyway, comes with one of these controllers built in, so you no longer have to make an additional purchase. This will operate out of the box with this controller, and you can set your pulse, you can set it to do a wave, or you can set it to external control. So I'm super excited about that. That's an absolute giant step forward. But I want to have a bit of a look at this pump. Or maybe I should just put it in the water, and let's push these tabs in. Maybe before I pull it apart, we should put it in the water and see what it does. Check out the impeller on that. That's got some crazy looking fins on it. Now, the really cool thing about these pumps is that they don't actually have a shaft that goes all the way through them. There's actually nothing of contact here. This is what they call Maglev technology. So the impeller is a magnet, outside the motor is a magnet, and the impeller shaft actually floats between the two. There's not any points where it makes connection, which is meant to give an incredibly silent operation. So I reckon before I pull this apart any further, we might get it in the tank. I'm tempted to take this cover off. There it goes. It's not broken, everything's okay. Let's get that one out, and then I believe actually this goes that way. There we go. Let's get the long range unit on it. test this pump out. So we'll just put this back on, cable goes there. All right, now another thing you'll notice is they've got this additional ribbing over the cable here, which is to keep it nice and true, because a lot of the time when you have pumps and you've got the cable hard up against there, you can wear the cable out there. So Tunze, you've added this extra skeleton, I guess, around the cable to give you a little bit of extra strength there. But let's get the magnet holders pushed on there and get this pump into the aquarium and see what it can do. All right, before we fire it up, I thought I'd just sit it in the aquarium so you can have a bit of a look at the visual size difference. Now, whilst the Stream 3 is smaller than I was expecting it to be, it is still a largish pump. You can see an MP40 wet side there. You can see a gyre over there. Gives you a bit of an idea as to the size of the pump. Its wet side, it's a little bit longer than an MP40. Diameter is probably a little bit less than an MP40, but of course you've got all this motor back here. So it's something you're going to need to bear in mind when choosing this for a pump. But that being said, the images I saw of this online made me feel like it was at least 1.5 times this size. It's nowhere near that big. So we'll see how it goes. Now, just for fun, I thought I'd turn some of the other pumps on. So at the moment, it's only the existing Tunzes. So we've got the big one there, and the two little ones up over there running, which have not been cleaned for near on 7 years. Check out the other video to see when I cleaned one of those. The MP40 is running. You can hear that there. And if we come up this end where there's just the gyre, you'll be able to hear this running. Get that nice wear. So I figured what we might do is we might just turn these other pumps off. So I'll turn. Okay, our Tunzes are off. Now that has removed a little bit of an underlying hum. I think there was a little bit of vibration going through this stream rock here and some of the rocks, particularly as I've moved them and unsettled them. They're not quite fixed as tightly as they were. So there's a little bit of a hum generated from that. You can absolutely still hear the gyres. Now, in fairness, they're quite dirty. They haven't been cleaned for a while. They flow a lot more and they're a lot quieter when they've been cleaned. And you can definitely hear the MP40. This guy, in fairness to him too, whilst he's relatively clean, he's old. He'd be a 6-year-old pump in itself. So, all right, let's turn off the gyres. All right, so now you're hearing just the MP40. And that's all the flow that is in the tank. You can see the return pump is still on, but it's down very, very low. All right, we can see things are pretty, it's producing flow, but it's, I can turn it up and it'll produce a bit more flow. All right, I've turned the MP40 up to full speed on its pulse, and it's producing a bit more flow now, but as a result, the noise has audibly gone up as well. Personally, I couldn't have that level of noise in my lounge room. But that being said, we'll have a look and see if we got... there's not really any sand disruption there. But bear in mind, that's one MP40. You can see a little bit of detritus flowing through there. It's moving some water, in fairness to the pump. It's turned up a lot higher than I would before. I've left my veggie clip in here so we can see we can lift that up a bit more so it gets it right into the range of the MP40. You see the MP40's there. The MP40 is creating a bit of flow. But what I want to do now is turn the MP40 off. We'll listen to the tank in silence, and then I'll turn this Stream 3 on and we'll see what sort of noise it creates and what sort of flow it creates. All right, there's no flow pumps on now at all. It's only when you turn all of these pumps off you realize how noisy some of them are, but I guess it's a noise you get used to. All right, so things are nice and quiet. Let me turn this Stream 3 on and we'll see what sort of noise it makes and what sort of flow we get out of it. All right, false alarm. I did it last time before pressing the record button, so we'll give it a quick shot. Thankfully, I realized fairly quickly. All right, so I've got the controller, pumps mounted at one end of the 6-foot aquarium, and let me just grab the power cable. All right, now we will plug the power in, and I'll show you what the controller and the pump does. You see the impeller start to turn. We've got a pulse motion going on. So it's gone between max power and minimum power. All right, now you may start to hear a little bit of water noise, and that's because, if we have a look up here, this is at the other end of the aquarium. Look at the flow. Look at the wave it's building up in the turbulence. Look at the sand and the PVC getting blown away. That's at the other end of the tank from one single pump running. There is no other pumps running in this tank. Look at the sand stirring up. This thing is ridiculously powerful. Obviously I can turn it down, and I'll need to because my fish are terrified. And I'm not sure if you can hear, there is the slightest of hum coming from this pump running at full speed, and enough speed to produce this level of sandstorm wave in the tank. I haven't even tried to dial a wave in, and the weir is getting splashed as the water rises up and down. It is unbelievable. Up here, we're starting to breach, we're starting to hit the bracing of this tank. This is madness, and a reminder that this is the only pump running in this tank at the moment. Stream 3 is ridiculously powerful. Look at the flow up here. Holy heck. One pump in a 6 by 2.5 by 2 tank. Holy smokes. All right, I guess we should address the elephant in the room, and that is the size of the Stream 3. Now, whilst it is a lot smaller than I originally thought it would be by looking at the pictures, you can still see compared to that's an MP40 down the bottom there, and that's the Stream 3. Now, there's obviously a size difference, and just above that, we've got the Max Spec Gyre. Now, I believe that's a 280, that's one of the large gyres. So it gives you a little bit of a reference when we compare the sizes, that there's obviously there's a size difference. That being said, I think it's fair to say that the Stream 3 is going to flow a lot more than the MP40, and it's going to do it at a lot less noise. Now, how that goes over time, I don't know yet. Like I said before, this MP40 is about 5-6 years old, and that Stream 3 is about 5-6 minutes old. So there's obviously a bit of a difference there, but it's interesting nonetheless. I also thought I'd put this flow deflector on so we could see what it was like in a vertical style, and you can see it still ends up pushing a lot of flow upwards. So even with the flow deflector, I guess you've still got this, the flow's still going to try and come out there, and in fact it somehow still manages to hit up here in the corner. So maybe some's coming out and up around this way, I'm not overly sure, but it definitely looks like, for best performance, well, in my instance anyway, to have these mounted horizontally pushing. Now, I've managed to secure 2 of these. Like I've mentioned, my good friend Eric at ARC Aquariums is now stocking these in Australia, which is pretty cool. I've managed to pick up 2 of these for my new tank, and I just couldn't help but chuck one in this tank to test it out. And I must say, I was wondering how many more pumps I was going to have to put into this new tank to get adequate flow. I'm going to hazard a guess and say none at this stage. 2 Stream 3s on a 7 by 3 foot tank is going to be ample. In fact, I'm going to have them turned right down just to stop sand blowing around and scaring the fish, because this tank is murky now by all the sand it's stirred up. All of the PVC fittings have been blown around. It's kind of impressive. So there you have it. That's the Stream 3 in Australia. I hope it's been of interest to you guys. If you've got any questions, be sure to pop it in the comment section down below. I was super curious by this new style of pump, and just to see how much flow it could produce, how quiet it would be. I've obviously got these pumps, I've bought these. These are for my new aquarium, and whilst I've still got a fair way to go with my new tank, I still have plenty of tanks with water in them. So if there's anything you want to see covered with these pumps, just let me know, and I'll be sure to either create a video on it for you or just answer you directly. Just let me know what you want to see in the comments, and we'll jump onto it. Alright guys, that's about all I wanted to cover in today's video. I just thought I'd give you one more angle from what I can see, and the angle I like to see of this pump, and that's down low, looking up through the body of water, up at the surface, at the disruption it causes. That's if you can see past all of the sand it's stirred up. I've got it in an auto pulse mode at the moment on 100% power, which is obviously not where I'm going to run the pump all the time, but it's a good little way to flex its muscle and give it a shot. You can see the amount of sand stirred through the tank. You can hear the wave absolutely splashing over the weir. It's hitting the cross bracing up here. and just creating all out havoc. Now, like I said, it's a pretty unrealistic setting to run the pump at, but it's good to know that there's plenty of muscle there should I need to lean on it. On my new tank, it's only going to be a little bit bigger than this. We're talking a 7x3, just a touch under 7x3 foot aquarium, and I've got 2 of these pumps to go in there. Now, obviously, 2 of these running in an anti-sink mode is going to be a lot of power, so I'm probably going to have them down about 30–40% power in an anti-sink mode, and we'll see how we go. I may still add a gyre at each end just to create that extra surface disruption to make sure I get good surface agitation, good gas exchange, things like that, but it's pretty clear to see and hear at the moment, as I can hear a total wave building behind me, that 2 Tunze Stream 3s are going to be plenty of power throughout the body of water of that tank. So personally, I couldn't be happier. Yes, they are big pumps, there's no denying that, but they're very, very powerful, and if I put them in at the start, I'll be able to escape around them so that they won't be visible at all. I managed to do that with a big 6105 Tunzes before, and I'm sure I'm going to be able to do that with the Stream 3s. But as always, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to pop into the comments section down below. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, if you're yet to, please consider subscribing. There should be a little subscribe button down there somewhere. It takes 2 seconds of your time, costs you no money, and it goes a long way to helping you out this YouTube venture. Other than that, guys, enjoy the wave, stay safe and keep reefing. Cheers, bye.